Hey, welcome to another Friday.
There it is. We made it. All right, so let's get into it. Revitalize Your Relationship, a 2024 Kickstarter for couples.
We'll be right back after this.
Welcome to Loving Beyond the I Do podcast. This power couple is building stronger marriages one day at a time. Talking about real issues on love, relationships, and marriage longevity. Let's break down the barriers and engage in healthy conversation with your hosts, Jason and Tina Marie. Take a seat and buckle up because things are about to get real.
Welcome to Loving Beyond the I Do live conversations. I'm your host, along with my beautiful wife, Tina Marie.
I'm the Tina Marie.
Yeah, and I'm the Jason.
All right.
Okay, all right. Yep.
Now that we got that clear.
Hey, listen, we can have it all, guys. That's including a lasting love affair. And that's what your chosen mate, both in committed relationships and also marriages.
All right. So we are your host, and we are the host of the podcast, Loving Beyond the I Do, plus certified and life relationship coaches of Legendary Relationship. We're talking about the importance of creating your ideal relationship through mental, physical, and spiritual intentions.
Throughout the podcast, we encourage you all to actively participate, share your experiences, and ask questions to engage with your hosts during our live conversations.
Thank you so much for that. We appreciate that. So, yeah, this is a live conversation. We need some interaction here. We got a lot of things going on. So let's go ahead and get into it. Where can you find us? You can find us everywhere you can find your podcast. That's Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, you name it, we're there. Also, we're at all of the socials, which are at Legendary Relationship. So we're on Facebook at Legendary Relationship. We're on Instagram, at Legendary Relationship. And we're on our website at not at Legendary Relationship, legendaryrelationship.com, and also YouTube at Legendary Relationship. Can't get any simpler than that, right?
Can't get any simpler than that. At Legendary Relationship, right?
That's
and if you want to listen to our podcast, wherever you get your podcast, that's Loving Beyond the I Do. So when we get married, we say, I do.
Yeah, that's way beyond that.
This is where we get into the good stuff. This is where marriage starts, right? It's loving beyond the I do. Yeah. All right?
Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. So welcome, couples. Tonight, we're going to dive into the power of setting intentions together.
That's right. Setting intentions.
Yes. So research shows that couples who share goals are more likely to stay together. So let's go ahead and kick things off about the importance of mutual goals.
Mutual goals. That means together, not individual, right?
Ooh, okay.
All right. So how are we doing that? Having shared goals enhances emotional connection. It fosters a collaboration, allowing you, the couple, to celebrate victories together and navigate challenges as a team. The act of setting intentional, I'm going to say that again, setting intentional, right, goals builds a sense of unity and purpose within your relationship.
Got it. All right. So one of the tools that we use is a document we use for goal setting, right?
Yep.
So it's a template. It's a simple template for outlining your short-term, long-term goals. It provides an approach for couples to align their aspirations.
And so
it's a way to go ahead and get your stuff kind of in order, right? It's a roadmap, a starting point for couples.
And we usually use this with our couples in our course so that we can help them. It's a template so that it's designed for both partners to put in their goals, their aspirations, as well as what they want together. All right, so let's get into a question.
Yes.
What goals or resolutions have you set as a couple for 2024? What have you set, right? Have you even set any goals?
That's the question.
And if
you haven't, why not?
Right. And have you set any goals in the past together? Right. Is this the first time? Is this the first time you're hearing about it? If you've set goals before in the past as a couple, how did they turn out? Let us know. Put your comments in there. Again, don't forget that if you are viewing us, we recommend or we encourage you to drop us a line in the comments so that we can shout you out, so that we can say hello, so we can say welcome, so that we can say thank you. So make sure that you drop us a line and just say, hey, what's going on tonight? Tonight is Friday. Tomorrow is Self-Care Saturday.
All right. I like that name.
Guess what? I'm going to take care of myself, because I don't care about nobody else but me tomorrow. So tomorrow is Self-Care Saturday, and we're going to get into that, right? So self-care is about understanding that we need to take care of ourselves before we can even take care of anybody else.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hey, I'm not mad at you.
Me either. All right.
So, as we've been working with these couples, I know one of the things that have come up is communication is key.
All the time.
Right.
Communication.
And you know what?
We know communication.
We know
key,
communication is key, but what we believe? We believe that communication is crucial in relationships, especially in relationships, especially effective communication, not just regular communication, but effective communication is extremely crucial.
That's right.
In a relationship. So let's look at a simple technique to improve how you should express yourself and connect on a deeper level.
All right. So we like to use the active listening technique exercise, right? And if you have ever listened to any of our podcasts, you know that we have gone deep into what is the active listening technique. We tell you the speak, repeat. So if you're not aware of that, make sure that you go and check out some of our previous podcasts. But what this is that this active listening technique exercise that we give, it builds empathy and understanding. It encourages that both partners feel heard and valued, which most of the time in communication, that is the breakdown.
That's the breakdown.
Either you're not being heard, or what you're giving out is not being received or valued. You're being gaslighted, right? Is that the word commentator?
I think that's it. If it's not, it's close.
All right. So when this technique is properly or correctly practiced, it establishes clear communication, helps to reduce misunderstandings, and ultimately strengthens your emotional bond, right? So we would say, people might ask, well, how does communication have anything to do with my emotions? Well, guess what? If you are not being heard and you're not being valued, or what you say is your partner doesn't believe it, or they're not recognizing it as being truth, right? They're trying to knock it down. That's not true. That's not how it was. You're just overreacting. So once you get to a place where you can effectively communicate and you're practicing these exercises, it allows you and your partner to now connect emotionally, because you're being heard, you're being understood. Your emotions are not at 10, they're now at 2, where now you can create a safe space with one another to now connect emotionally and not just argue at each other or listen to respond, but now you're listening to understand.
Actually, you can get something out of it, right? Instead of always coming and attacking each other.
Exactly.
You can actually get something accomplished when you just sit down and have a nice little conversation, when one, you can speak and then I can understand exactly what you're saying, instead of, walking away and having an issue, not walking away. But we see couples do this all the time. They come together for a conversation, but they walk away feeling like they didn't receive anything.
Exactly.
It was worse.
Or we're in the same place we were before.
Yeah, we're worse
it's
off
over and over and over again.
right? And we're supposed to be coming together to talk to get better, right? So the active listening technique or exercise involves couples taking turns expressing themselves, right, to each other. Practicing active listening.
It's one of those nights.
I know, right?
Guys, right?
Without interruption or listening to respond, which is then followed by a reflective summary or what was stated, not a rebuttal. So you're listening to listen, but you're not listening to rebuttal, right?
Right.
Or what was said. So let's make that clear, right? So active listening is part, the person that's speaking, I know, right? That word is like stuck, right? It's going to get out. Active listening is when you're speaking or one partner is speaking and the other one is listening.
And we say listening. That
Right.
means
I'm not
you don't
listening
talk.
to try to respond. I'm not listening to try to get my point across.
I'm
But
not
what
listening to
I am
defend
going
myself.
to do, right? But what I am going to do once you finish speaking, I am going to state back to you. I'm going to summarize what you said to me. And then if you say, yes, that's what I was saying, then we can move forward. Now, I totally understand, or I totally receive, or one couple, one person totally received the information correctly. And now I received it correctly. Now I can actually relay it back to you and say, what I heard you say was this.
And that way it cuts down on miscommunications, right?
Correct.
And so we're listening, as the saying goes, we have 2 ears to listen, double as hard as how we speak. So sometimes we just have to close our mouth and listen and not feel attacked, not feel that we have to defend our stance, because it's not defending. It's about really trying to get to an understanding. All right. So let's ask you guys a question. Now, remember, live conversations mean that we're live and we're digging into conversations. We can't have a conversation without ourselves. So make sure that you type in the chat if you're with us for the first time. We say thank you and welcome. Also, that if you want us to just shout you out, because we cannot see the viewers. So we do want to shout you out. We want to know, we want everyone to know how special you are. So we want to say your name. So also, let us know if you've ever set any intentional goal setting as a couple and how they turned out. And if you haven't, if you've never done this, why you've never done it, and what you think it might, partake in, what it might include, or how it might turn out. All right. So let's get into my question. The question is, what communication challenges have you faced, and how have you overcome them? Right?
Right.
So, have you ever asked yourself why? Why is this a communication challenge? And what can I actively do to help the issue be resolved? So many times we're trying to get our point across. We're trying to beat our mate over the head with this is the right way, this is the right way, this is the right way, that the information is lost in translation because no one is actively listening. Right? So what communication challenges have you faced, and how have you overcome them? Right? Plus, you can ask yourself, if you want to type in there, ask yourself why. Why is this a communication challenge, and what can I do to actively help reduce the problem? Right? What can I do to resolve it?
That's what I was going to say. What can I do? What can I do differently?
Exactly.
To help with this communication
right.
gap?
As we said, if nothing changes, nothing changes. If we keep communicating the same way, either saying it louder, saying it slower, saying it harsher, just screaming it, if we keep communicating the same way we always have, but nothing has been effective, what's going to change, right? We have to understand that we cannot solve any problem, whether it's communication or anything. We cannot solve it at the same level that it was created at, right? The same conscious level, which means that if we could have solved the problem, we wouldn't be having it.
Right.
That means that somewhere, either between me and my mate, neither one of us know how to effectively communicate, or somewhere between the communication, some type of technique, mechanic, something is being broken down. So that's why we actually have these communication techniques, to actually help couples see where they're going wrong, right?
Oh, that's right. All right. So let's get into
All right. That's our next thing.
the next thing here. So we're going to talk about a little bit of quality time and what that actually looks like. Quality time versus quantity. Because, sometimes we can spend a lot of time together, right? That counts for something.
Right. And it has no quality.
It has no quality. It has anything to do with quality at all.
That's right.
Let's all right, so now let's talk about quality time. So that time, was it quality versus quantity? It's not so much about being together, it's about what you're doing in those moments. So how can we discuss the difference between mere spending time together and real quality time? Because I'm telling you, a lot of times couples get this confused. They get it confused with quality over quantity.
All right. So quality time is about connection and not just proximity or the amount. Scheduling specific activities ensures that you prioritize each other. fostering a deeper emotional connection. Now, it's not a chore. It's not a task. It's not an obligation or a burden. It's when you love your mate and you know that this time is essential in demonstrating your commitment and love to each other. When it's done out of obligation, then it defeats the whole purpose, right? If we're just saying, hey, I'm going to spend some time with my husband or my wife because they've been complaining, so I'm going to give them an hour tomorrow. I promise them, hey, but after that hour, we can hang out. Then you've missed the boat. You've missed the boat. The whole point of quality time means that the time that we are together, you are with me, you are present, you are intentional, right? Am I right?
Oh yeah, 100%. No. I'm saying you're right on point, right?
So it's like, for example, it's like having a date night, and we go out on a date, but the whole time you're on your phone.
Ooh.
Is that quality, or is that just quantity?
Or you could be at home, right? We're gonna spend some quality time at home.
Yep.
And then what? You're at home, but you're on the phone the whole time. You're on the computer. You're checking email.
You're downstairs. I'm upstairs.
So we call that present. But not present.
That's right. So we have to make sure that when we're doing quality time, it's to either speak our love mate's love language,
right,
or it's just to invest into our relationship, because not everybody's love language is quality time, but you do need that connection. We have to spend time together that is quality time, doing things that we like, sharing each other's interests, just being a part of each other where we're continually connecting emotionally as well as physically. I know oftentimes Jason and I have discussed on the podcast that, you know, when we talk about intimacy, men usually gear towards sex. But when we talk about intimacy with women, that usually means the holding hands, the touching. So that's sex to us outside of the bed. We want that same feeling and attachment and excitement and exhilaration. We want to get prepared outside the bed. So when it's time to go inside the bed, that all bets are off, right? We are fully engaged. We're not just there. We're both actively participating, and we have to understand that, right? No one wants you to just be there. We don't want just a body. We can have anybody there.
Right.
We want to connect on a deeper level, which means that the time we spend together is meaningful. It counts. That you are showing me that I am so important to you, that you have chosen to not only spend time with me, but that you have put away your phone.
You know what? And that's what we've been working with men on. And that's, learning to be vulnerable, learning to pay attention to a woman's needs or to your wife's needs or to your mate's needs. That is something that we're kind of like nailing into the males. Like, hey, you have to be present in your relationship. It's just not going to happen. You just can't show up. And that's it. You can't show up to dinner and you ain't never bought any food, right?
Right.
So how you think you're going to have a meal, right? So like anything else, if you want to have romance, you just can't show up.
That's right.
Looking for just strictly romance and you haven't put any preparations in there, right? So that's what we're working on. So men can no longer use the excuse that, well, when I think about,
intimacy is just sex. Right.
Yeah.
And it's because, like we said before, you have to create that safe space, which quality times adds to it, right? You have to be
genuine
vulnerable.
quality
You have
time.
to, as a man, you have to be okay with being vulnerable. And I know sometimes that's hard, right?
Yeah.
Which means that
we got to get over it. I think we use that. I think men use that as an excuse.
Yeah.
They've used it for an excuse for so long that they start to believe it, right?
And then you wonder why, when you get to the bed, she's unsatisfied, or she's not active, or your relationship is just coming apart. You find yourself detached.
Going through the motion.
That's right.
Yep.
So the first thing that goes, it's a sign, is when things are not happening in the bedroom.
Right.
So be aware. Be aware.
All right. So what should you do? Schedule some quality time.
This is our technique that we do.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Schedule some quality time. Create a shared calendar with dedicated slots. Quality time. Activities, and ensuring that both of you all are actively engaged. Now, here's the thing. If it doesn't happen on that particular day, move it around. It's not set in stone. It's not the end of the world if it's on the calendar and it doesn't happen, because things come up.
Right.
Be flexible enough.
But
to
don't
say,
keep canceling. Don't keep canceling.
Right. No, we're not doing that.
Right.
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 So we're not going to continue to cancel, but let's be flexible with our schedule.
Right. Be open.
Right. Exactly.
And understand that things happen and that sometimes we have to move things around, but it doesn't mean if we missed it that, oh, well, it's not going to happen.
Right. Then
That means
you
that
out
gives
for
you an
this week, we go to the next week. No,
Right.
that's not it. It's give you, like Tina said, you have an opportunity to do something else.
That's right.
And when I say be flexible with the schedule because it's what you want and what she wants. So you both have to have input on that, not just all the time, maybe going bowling or going to a movie. I mean, you have to put something on there to kind of keep it fresh.
And as we said before, you don't always have to go out. Quality time is about what does it mean to you. If it just means that you guys go for a nice walk, but not in Chicago, right? Okay.
Not right now.
Well, nice walks when it's freshly snowing is beautiful. Right. But when it's cold and rainy and slushy, it's not. So, spending quality time could just be taking a walk and talking, right? Not taking a walk and I'm on my phone and you have your headphones on, or we're not even talking. We're just walking in the same direction.
Right.
So we have to be mindful of the things that our body language is giving off. Is my body language saying that I'm present? Is my body language saying that I love you so much and you matter to me that I want to be here? It's not a chore. I put this on the calendar because I want to make sure that you and I have time together because I give time to work. I give time to kids sometimes. We give times to our relative. We give time to chores. We give time to everything else that is demanded. This is something that we don't want it to be demanded. We want it to be engaging. We want it to be loving. We want it to be sought after, right?
We want something.
That's not. None of those are the words that I was seeking after, but hopefully it'll come. But we want it to be something that you desire,
right?
That you can't wait till it happens.
Right. It's something that you desire and something that you really want to happen. Not like, it's on the calendar. We have to do this. We're gonna go ahead and do this.
All right. So commentary. Do we have any comments? Anybody checking in?
Yes, we have Cleo Wood saying, "Hey, Scott family."
Hey, what's
Cleo?
going on, Cleo?
How are you? Thank you for tuning in.
Yes.
We have Mia Miller checking in.
Hey, Mia.
Hey, Mia. Thank you for checking in.
And Vicky Thomas.
Hey,
Hello, family.
Vicky and Earl.
Hello, Earl and Vicky.
Hey,
Thank
guys.
you for checking in. Happy Friday to everyone. So remember, guys, if you're looking and you just want us to shout you out, we just want to say thank you and hello.
Thank you. We appreciate it. And also, don't forget to share.
All right. So the other thing is, let's go to a question. So how do you, everyone out there, because like we said, this is a conversation. It's kind of weird when it's just one-sided, sort of like with mates, right? So if you and your mate, if you tell your husband, I want to have a conversation, you're doing all the talking, it doesn't really work that well, does it? Unless we're trying to practice active listening. But, okay, how do you currently prioritize quality time in your relationship? And is it really quality time, or is it another thing to do to keep peace? Right? For example, on our date night, I know for years I had asked Jason, let's do date night. He was like, well, why are we doing date night when we're always together, right? We're always doing things. And what I think for him, what he realized is that even though we were always doing things together, and even though we went out to eat or we did this or did that, it wasn't specifically our time.
Right.
It's like it felt different when we knew it was a date night. It felt the romance was there. The intimacy was there. Right. The connection was there. And not that it was missing when we were together, but I think our minds were always like, okay, we're doing this. We got to do that. We got to go over here. So we weren't really present for the relationship. We were just kind of there. But when we did date night, it felt different. We connected different. And it was specifically our time. And so therefore, we didn't take phone calls. We didn't look at social media that could, take hours and hours of your time. We made sure that whatever.
It was our time.
It was about us.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? I didn't think that it was going to affect me that way. But it became like super important. I'm like, man, this is like our time. We was just like into each other. It's different. I mean, we can go out to some of the same restaurants, but when it's our time to be together and we're having conversation and we're engulfed in each other, that's different than just casually stopping somewhere to get something to eat.
Yeah. Let's get dinner before we go in.
Right.
It was different.
Right.
It was a different-
it was just a different feel. So,
And I think for me, it took me back to the dating stage. So often in our relationships,
when you
those
used to look at me
little
like
things.
that.
Look, I still look at you like that.
Yeah, now they done turn side eyes.
No, but we forget the little things that really mean big things.
Okay.
Right? The attention that you give your mate, the excitement that you have when you're going on a date. So please, guys, don't just do date night as a chore,
Yep.
as something else
Yep.
on your list to do. Do it with excitement. Do it whereas now you know that, hey, this is an opportunity for me to get to know my mate now, because my mate now is not the mate that he or she was
When we
5 years
married.
ago, or maybe
Yep.
not even 5 minutes ago.
I say when we
Situations
married.
come. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Totally different individual because I know that I am.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
All right. So let's move on
So
to the
don't
next.
forget, these questions are for you to put into the chat. We want to hear from you. And if you have any questions for us, please feel free to type it in the chat as well. You ready?
We have a shout out from Vanya saying, "Good evening, family."
Hello,
Hey,
Vanya.
Vanya. How
Good
are
evening,
you?
Vanya. Happy Friday. All right.
All right. So recovering or
Nope.
rediscovering
Rediscovering. That's what we like to
a
do.
romance.
And I think that's what we were just talking about.
That's exactly
Date
it.
night helps
It's
you to
part of it.
rediscover the romance.
But it's not here. But yeah, it's part of it. All of this is, right?
Right, exactly.
It's kind of a roadmap. So another area that comes up when we're working with couples
Right.
is intimacy.
All the
All right.
time.
So romance plays a vital role in keeping the spark alive. So let's discuss.
The sparks.
Yes.
What
The
what
sparks.
did you used to tell me when for the fire? You used to tell me to do what to the fire? What do you call that when to keep it going?
Stoke.
Oh,
Stoke
there
the
you
fire.
go. There you go.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
we got to
prod
do.
it and stoke it.
Prod
Yep.
it. There you go.
Yep. Let's discuss ways to rediscover romance and keep the passion burning.
All right. So romance is a continual process of discovery.
Oh.
I'm gonna say that again. It's not a one and done, baby. It's a continual process of discovery.
Right.
Planning surprises and thoughtful gestures reignites the initial excitement. That's the word I was looking for. Excitement, maybe. Reminding partners of the love and appreciation they share. So often in relationships, we don't feel appreciated. It becomes a routine.
It is.
He's supposed to do it. She's supposed to do it. Oh, this is what we always do. It becomes a routine. But when you show someone that you appreciate the little things, that can go a long way. So when you forget to add fuel or prod the fire will burn out. Guarantee. Guarantee. You don't if you don't put those logs on there and you don't prod it and you don't add the fuel.
You know
guess
what? It is so the most difficult part of the fire is the beginning, right? Getting this started.
Hey, no.
Once you get it
you think
started-
that's the hardest?
Yeah. Because once you get the fire started, all you gotta do is add a log in there. and
it's
then
easy
eventually-
to keep it going.
And you just keep it going.
Just got to be mindful
You know
of how
what
to
I'm
keep
saying?
it going.
Right.
Keep it going. But if you let it go out,
Oh boy.
it's going to be a hard time
you
starting it
starting
back
all over
up.
from-
Starting all over from the beginning.
Right.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go. There
I'm
you
just
go.
saying. That's all I'm just saying. So how we
So what are the tools that we use for that in our couples?
all right, so how we combat that for couples
Right.
is that we give them some logs to keep it burning.
We can. There you go. There you
It's
go.
called a romance planning guide. A resource suggests surprise gestures, date night ideas, and personalized romantic plans.
So I know when we were talking about tonight's topic, and I know I was telling you that our oldest son, he's very thoughtful, and so one of the things
He got it from his dad.
Cricket. Okay. So he probably got it from me. And so I noticed that
definitely
when
thinking he
he
got it
and
from
his
his dad.
girlfriend had hit a certain year in their dating, he had bought balloons, took her on a picnic, like he planned. Right? He planned it. No one wants their birthday coming up. No one wants an anniversary coming up. No one wants a date night coming up and you haven't planned it. Right? You're just like, oh man, Tomorrow's her birthday. What can I run out and get? Because it shows. It shows when your mate is invested in the relationship. It shows when you're invested and that you truly care. It's those little gestures. If it's just something as small as, hey, I'm going to make sure that I do X, Y, Z, and it doesn't have to be something big. It's just the intention behind it.
Right.
It's the intention. That's what we look for. Because if I go, wow, he made sure that he got roses and put them in a vase, right? It doesn't matter whether it's 1 rose, 6 roses, 12 roses. It's the idea that he thought about me. It's the gesture. It's the appreciation. It's the showing of affection that we look for, right?
100%, baby. I still say he got it from me.
Yeah,
but whatever. I mean, hey,
all right. So let's go into our question.
Yeah, go ahead with your question, sweetie.
All right. So here's our question. Have you tried any surprise gestures to keep the romance alive? Please make sure you put that in the comments. Share your experiences with it and as many details as you like, but keep it PG, right? Give us the story. Please remember that everything is important. What we can the whole point of our show is that we want to help couples that may be struggling in certain areas to give them ideas, to give them tools for their toolbox, to equip them with the exercises that they need so that they don't have to struggle, right? As the saying goes, if I've gone through the minefield without blowing up, then why wouldn't you follow in my footsteps?
That's
so
true.
We're here to help guide you, couples that may not know what to do.
And
all right.
And survey has said that a lot of them don't, because this conversations and coaching sessions that we've had with couples.
Make sure
that it comes up in our sessions. So this is something we're not grasping. This just out of the air, right? This is due to research and data
and personal experience.
And sometimes, it sounds real easy.
It does.
It seems like, okay, yeah, we know that. No.
And that's the thing. Most of the time, and it's not just knowing it, right? It's not just the knowledge behind it or hearing it. It's the application.
It's the execution of it.
Execution.
You have to execute on the plan. And a lot of time we miss that. Yeah, I know. And then you hit the mark one time, you hit Mother's Day and the birthday. And you hit those days. But what about the times when
there's nothing going on?
They may be unhappy. And they just need a little pick-me-up.
Or they had a rough week at work.
Right.
Or the children are just all over the place, right? Sometimes it's just being intentional with seeing through the chaos to be able to see through, know your mate so well that you know when they're having a rough time and they don't even have to say anything. That your gesture just brightens up their day. That they really feel touched because you were aware of their needs. You loved them so much that they didn't even have to speak a word, but you were aware of it, right? I'm telling you guys, it's the small things that matter. Yeah. It really is. All right, waiting on you. So don't forget, the question was, have you tried any surprised gestures to keep the romance alive? And if so, what were they? So that we all can try them. All right. Commentary, do we have any comments?
We have from James Randall. Hello, family. This is a nice subject.
All right. Hey, James, what's going on, man?
James, welcome.
Yeah, welcome. Thanks for popping in. We appreciate it.
That's right. Sometimes we can be in a relationship so long that we forget that the little things really do matter. Right? And we all want to feel it. We all want to feel touched and passion and kissing and romance and intimacy. We want to feel alive. We get tired of the routine.
For sure.
We don't want to feel like relationships and marriage are work. We want to feel like I can't wait to get with my baby. Isn't that how we feel, honey?
That's how I feel.
All right.
Bonnie says happy Friday, not happy birthday. Happy Friday. Tommy and I are both here.
Hey, Tommy, what's going on?
Tommy, welcome to the show.
All right.
All right.
And James had a birthday. Again, happy birthday this week.
Yes.
You're getting young man.
And
You're getting young.
Cleo's husband, Ron, had a birthday as well.
Okay.
So happy birthday to Ron.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to all of the January people. Happy birthday to my niece, Morgan.
Oh, boy.
Happy birthday to my daughter. I know, because these are family members. Happy birthday to my daughter. She was on the 5th, my Aunt Shirley. To my niece, Trinity. So there's a lot of January people. Let's see, to Loretta.
Yep.
to Loretta, my sister-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
So happy birthday to all of the wonderful, fantastic, January people. But what I saw on social media is that it's time for the Capricorns to get out because it's Aquarius time. That's just what I saw. It was so funny. It was like
It is
a
time,
person
though.
with a gun or something that was like, okay, Capricorns, it's time to leave. It's Aquarius time.
Party's up.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. So I hope I get those signs right. So I'm not in January, February. But happy birthday to everyone. And thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to share your thoughts and experiences, things that you have done, things in your relationship that have worked. So if you are just tuning in, what we're talking about is this is the beginning of 2024, and we're now approaching the end of the month. What have you intentionally done? And so these are some of the things that you can intentionally do as a couple to make the year go better. Right? To make the relationship stronger, to have emotional connection with your mate that lasts longer than a night. All right. So these are some of the things and the tips that we're giving you. We're giving you some tools to go along with it and some exercises. So feel free to just jump in and join the conversation at any time.
All right. So let's go ahead and talk about that money.
Money, money, money.
All right. Talking about money.
Money.
How money matters. And we know money matters.
Because money matters.
That's right. Because money just matters.
You know, just like people say, oh, money is not everything, but it sure matters.
I don't know if it's I don't know if it's everything, but it's right next to it.
It matters on a lot of fronts.
Yep. Matters when you have it, and it matters when you don't.
And you're not using it right.
Yep.
Right? Well, hey, you got the money. Why
That's
you not
right.
spending it, right?
That's right.
Or you don't have the money and you're still like just not doing the right things. All right, so let's talk about money.
Oh man, it can be a significant stress on you.
Absolutely.
Right? As on a relationship.
Yes.
And if you don't have all of the other things that we talked about, that's just an added pressure to you if you didn't take care of the other things, because now you have this stress now of money becoming an issue, which will also show you where you're weak at in the other areas in your life.
Absolutely.
But let's go ahead and let's explore some strategies for planning for couples to ensure financial alignment and stability.
All right. So financial alignment is vital for a secure future
Yep.
and the sustainability of a marriage. We may not think so, but it does. All right.
Yep.
So transparent budgeting and shared financial goals create a sense of responsibility and unity, reducing financial strain and mistrust. This can eliminate unnecessary conflict and partners being unaware of financial surprises. Surprise! We have to move. All right. Trust, honesty, and complete transparency are essential in any relationship. And we're not just talking about financially, but just trust, honesty, and complete transparency in any area of your relationship, but especially in your finances.
This is where you really need some of that effective communication.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so during our research or working with couples, we have noticed that oftentimes, even though we're more educated now, we still don't have those conversations before we get married, after we get married, during the marriage. We don't know how to have them.
Listen, we had those conversations when we when we absolutely have to have them.
And I don't even think we have the conversations. We have more.
We
of the
just blurt it out.
It's arguments, it's frustration.
Yeah.
It
comes out.
It's the blame.
But
game.
we don't have the conversation until the last possible moment when the stuff is about to hit the fan.
Or it didn't hit the fan.
Right. Then it's like, look, cat's out the bag now. We can have this conversation.
Or we don't have it, and each person is not trusting the other one because they may be struggling and they don't understand, well, if we are a team, right? Marriage is supposed to be teamwork. If anybody in the world is on your team, it's supposed to be your mate. And if they're not, then we might need to switch sides. All right. I'm just saying. I'm just putting that out there. But so if I'm struggling, then that means that you're struggling.
Yep.
All right. All right. So do we have any commentary?
Vanya says, Tommy says money can't buy everything, but it's a good down payment.
Amen, Tommy.
Yeah.
Amen.
Hey, that's the first start, right?
There you
Because
go.
you sure can't buy without a down payment.
That's right. And money can't buy you everything, but guess what? I sure want to try. I
Yep.
want to try. I want to see what it can't buy, right?
Right.
I want to get everything that it can buy and then say, okay, well, let me now go see what it can't.
Right.
Right. Now, literacy helps. Being emotionally intelligent helps, right? A lot of things help, but just we have to understand it's all right. It's all right. And we have to have these conversations, and most people don't.
Right.
You may think that in this day and age that every married couple, they are having this conversation, and they're not. We're not talking about it because we don't know how to approach it. But anyway, let's finish getting into it.
Okay. Yep.
All right.
I have another comment.
Yep.
Nancy Smith says, "What's up, fam? Sending love from Puerto Rico."
Hello.
Hey, Nancy, what's going on?
That's right, Nancy. So I want to send love to all of my family in Puerto Rico. Hello.
Yeah, bring some of that warm weather back.
Bring some of the warm weather
Vanya
back.
says, "We look at our budget at the beginning of each year before setting our financial goals for the year."
And so, Vanya, when you say we, so do you set financial goals together and then separate, or is everything done together?
As a couple.
All right. So that's just a question. All right, Jay?
All right. We recommend several different budgeting apps that you can pick that appeals to you. Some of them are very easy to navigate, so there's plenty of them out there. They usually entail an application process or a fill-in section that allows couples to track expenses, set financial goals, and allow them to manage their finances together.
Yep.
Making financial alignment easier and attainable. Awareness is being proactive, not reactive after the fact. Not letting the stuff hit the fan and then now you got to try to react because you're trying to avoid all them late fees.
All right. So how do you approach financial planning with your partner? Do you avoid this area because you don't know how to approach it, or you don't understand the importance of financial planning or alignment? Knowledge is power of any kind, right? Power to the couples. Financial literacy is one of the biggest things that we can give each other and our mates. So make sure that as we are approaching a new year and a new milestone in our relationships, that if we're not doing financial planning, that we get to it, because anything can happen. Anything can happen, good, bad, or indifferent. But what helps is that when we're prepared for it. So we want to be prepared in every area. So make sure that, I know, like Jason said, for our couples, we recommend several different financial planning apps for them to use. And we, whatever works for them, whatever's easiest for them to navigate and use. There are a lot of them out there, but we recommend that you guys start today.
For sure.
Yes.
All right. So now let's talk about self-care and individual
You're wording.
individual growth.
All right.
You can say whatever you want, but we're talking about self-care. And we talked about that a little bit in the beginning. Yep,
Yes.
self-care and individual growth.
Don't forget tomorrow is
Self-care Saturday. I got to remember that. Yep. So we're talking about self-care and individual growth. It's how to support each other's personal development.
Yes.
And enhancements in your relationship. So what's important to you is also important to the relationship. So a lot of times we always talk about the couple and what's important for the marriage and the relationship, but we all have individual goals as well. They're just as important as our marital goals. So we have to respect those. And you know what? Like I said, this stuff seems like it's real
who
minute.
doesn't know that, right? Right.
But I'm telling you, with the conversations and the sessions that we've been in,
it's kind of like
this is not as common as you would think that it is.
Because, as we all know, what is it? Common sense is not
always common.
That's right. So you're like, no kidding. Yep. No kidding.
No
kidding.
Yep.
All right. So let's see. It says encouraging personal growth within your relationship contributes to both partners' feeling fulfilled. And that's because if I'm fulfilled, I'm not looking for you to fill me up, right?
Right.
This helps to prevent stagnation and ensures that each person continues to evolve, creating a dynamic and supportive partnership.
Right.
Improves a sense of self and togetherness. And that's why I said, I know last Saturday, my family has a family group. And so I told them it was Share Saturday. Let's share. And so for tomorrow, I have that's N-O, no commitments to anyone except for myself. So that's why it is Self-Care Saturday. I am going to commit to myself what I need to rejuvenate myself for next week. Sometimes we
So that means I got a free Saturday.
Sometimes we spread ourselves so thin, right? We're trying to be everything for everyone. And the truth of the matter is that sometimes we have to tell our children no. Sometimes we have to tell our grandchildren no.
loved ones.
Sometimes we have to tell our spouse no. Sometimes we have to tell our job no. Sometimes we have to tell the people at church no. Sometimes we have to tell the committees that we're on and the things that we belong to and the positions that we hold. Hey, you know what? I need to have a self-care day, and today is just not a good day. I can't be my all for you if I can't be my all for myself. Right?
That's
and
right.
that is the truth of the matter. As we always said, you don't look for someone else to give you love or fill you up with love or to take care of you. You do that first. You love yourself enough to know that once I am fulfilled and once I'm filled up, it's only going to overflow. But if I'm empty, I can't give you anything but hostility, reactions, quickness, anger, snapping for no reason except that I have now, as my mom used to say, I am burning the candle at both ends. And it's only a matter of time before it burns out.
Yeah. And that's the importance of the whole thing, right? If you can take care of yourself, you can take care of your relationship.
Absolutely. It's easier. It's things
but a lot of time we give so much of ourselves, we burn ourselves out, and then the relationship
we even give too much of the relationship sometimes, and then we feel resentment.
I understand. I know
right?
that.
Yeah,
Right. But then in the end, it starts to suffer.
Yep.
Right. And you're wondering why you're having these issues is because that you've given so much to the relationship, you have nothing for yourself, so you can't pour from an empty cup.
Absolutely.
And you're just frustrated by everything after
Everything.
that. Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
All right.
So what we incorporate with individuals' growth discussions. We guide couples through how to actively engage in conversations about their personal goals.
Yes.
And what it looks like. And how they can support each other in achieving their separate and collective goals within the relationship.
That's right. That's right, because that's important.
Yeah, it is.
All right. So my question to our audience that is actively putting in the chat their answers and questions is, in what ways do you support each other's individual growth within the relationship? How do you even encourage it, right? Have you ever discussed personal growth? Is this an area that you know? Let me say that again. Is this an area that you know is crucial in emotional connection to feeling supported and important as a person to the whole of the relationship? Do you realize that? Do you realize when you take the time to talk to your mate and ask them what are their goals, their aspirations, what would they like to do, whether it's just taking a karate class, going to the health club, whether it's learning how to knit, whatever it may be. Have you ever sat down to ask, because we are all about self-preservation. What do I want? Me. And when you put the other person first, sometimes it helps in the relationship. So what have you done to ask your mate, how can I support you in your personal goals? What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to do? What can we do together to make that happen? Right?
Just right. I know. It's just, I'm sitting back and I'm thinking about some of the conversations that we had and some of the issues that come up. Yeah, there's some good conversation, but some of the issues about self-awareness, being happy, giving so much of themselves for the betterment of their relationship, giving so much to the kids, raising the kids.
Family.
And a lot of times the mom gives a lot more to the kids just because that's their
traditionally,
spirit. Right,
traditionally. Not always, but traditionally.
But they give so much, but then in the end, they feel like they're not getting a lot back from the relationship.
I do, and I think we talked about this on our podcast. I do remember when I first started homeschooling our kids, and it went from I was excited to completely burnt out to where I just couldn't. I really didn't want to do it anymore, and it was because I felt like I had lost myself. Like, who was Tina?
Right.
Where does she begin and where does she end? And it was like, who am I as a person? Like, I felt like my whole life was just surrounded by kids. I had lost my social life. I had lost, because by the time the night came, I was like, I'm not ready to engage with anybody. I just was like, wanted seclusion. I just wanted to run away from myself in this whole situation, because it just, at one point, it became so overwhelming. And sometimes if we're not aware of this, it can really send us into a turmoil or depression. Sure can. Right? So we have to find these lifeguard, what do you call those things? These
life preservers?
Life preserves. We have to find them. We have to find out what can we do to help couples to understand what to expect and how to get through it. Do we have any comments, commentator? All right. Well, thank you guys for all of these comments that you're putting in. We appreciate it. All right. I'm pretty sure I've asked about, let's see, six questions.
Yep. So
six
here
questions.
it is.
Thank you, Vanya, for your answer. Or Tommy?
Yep. So today, here's just some tips and tools that we use to help in your marital relationships, some resources. And a lot of the complete list can be found on our website at legendaryrelationship.com. You can go get it. It's just free. It's just a resource. But these are just some of the things. It's a Kickstarter, right? It's for you to kickstart your 2024 off in a great way. So let's go ahead and learn what we need to learn so we can have the relationship we need to have.
All right, so let's go through a recap before we end tonight's show. So we shared with setting intentions together, where we discussed the importance of setting mutual goals for the year and gave you tools for goal setting, the goal setting template for couples. Then we went into effective communication strategies as we explored techniques for improving communication and gave you a communication exercise and role play tool. Then we compared quality time versus quantity time, which is understanding the difference between spending time together and meaningful time together, offering some techniques. Then we drove straight into rediscovering romance by discussing ways to keep the intimacy alive and gave some how-tos. That led us to financial alignment, which explored strategies for financial planning as a couple, where we also shared some tools for you and apps. And ended it with self-care and individual growth. Don't forget tomorrow's Self-Care Saturday, guys. Whereas we can't emphasize enough the importance of personal development first. Here we offer some how-tos and creating a supportive environment for personal goals and growth. Don't forget, it is important to take care of yourself first, as well as the relationship. Everyone is equally important. Sometimes when we feel burnt out, it comes across, and then the relationship is suffering in an area where it really doesn't need to, because we're not expressing what's really going on with us individually. Let's take care of ourselves mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, whatever that looks like for you. And I know that we have a plethora of resources that help couples to just dive into the resources to understand, hey, I'm struggling with this. What can I do? And those can be found on our website at legendaryrelationship.com.
All right. Hey, thank you so much for that recap, Tina. I greatly appreciate it. Listen, you can like, subscribe, and share our content. Please do.
Yes.
That way it can get around the whole internet and people can see it. So, again, you can find all of our resources at legendaryrelationship.com just legendaryrelationship.com. I always have a / so
tonight he does it.
Tonight I do not.
All right.
But we're here every Friday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time.
That's right.
So you already know to like, share, follow, subscribe if you're not, if you haven't subscribed to any of the channels. That way you'll receive notifications And you know when we're going live, we have special announcements, and also we just have some valuable information.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
So, babe, I think that is it for this week. I think this is going to wrap up another live conversation with
All right.
you and I.
That's right. So next week, guys, if you did not partake or participate in the conversation tonight, be ready next week. We will have more questions, more tools, more techniques, and more advice. All right? So make sure you're tuning in.
All right.
And if you have any questions in the meantime, you can always send us a DM or send us a question through our email at info@legendaryrelationship.
Yep. And I was going to say .com.
You can info@legendaryrelationship.
Yep. That's it.
All right.
.com.
.com, whatever.
Yep, it is.
It ain't no .com in the email?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. legendaryrelationship.com.
There you go.
Email, info. Don't forget it's info.
Yep.
All right. Take us out, baby.
All right. So, as always, we're in it to win it. Till next week, guys.
Love you. Thanks again for tuning in.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Lovin' Beyond the I Do podcast. Head over to iTunes to subscribe and leave a review. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Legendary Relationship, or visit our website at legendaryrelationship.com. Till next time, remember to make every day count.